Okay, we're going to do a quick compression test on the Suzuki. Now, I'm not too concerned about how high the figures are or the maximum amount of PSI. I'm more concerned about consistency. So we're looking for something that's pretty even across the board. We don't want something that's like one cylinder that's like way low. We just want them all to be sort of similar, because it does drive fine. It doesn't seem to blow any smoke. Not sure if it uses much oil, because I haven't really driven it long enough. But we'll get these leads off. I'll set the camera up over here, and we'll do a quick compression test on it. Now we'll have a look what the plugs look like. Like I said, this carby's not going to stay on it because I've got a Weber carby to go on it. So we just do a check before I go ahead and order a bunch of parts. So these plugs look like they're not even that old, so which is a good thing. At least somebody serviced it, which is always good. You never know what you're going to get when you buy a car sight unseen off the internet. But I quite like doing that. I find it, I don't know. When I used to import cars from Japan, we used to always buy them sight unseen. And that was back in 2001, and the internet photos were pretty poor. You only used to get 3 photos on any of the auctions in Japan, and so it wasn't much to go off. You really had to go off what the auction sheet said, which even then still could be very varied. Like a car that was like a 3.5 BB, which was probably the average car that we used to sort of import. You get one car 3.5 BB and it'd be really good. The next one 3.5 BB was a piece of crap and was scratched up and marks all over it. So it didn't quite often always dictate what you were going to end up with. So anyway, back to that. Like I said, I like buying stuff sight unseen. That one's a little bit darker, but it might be just running a little bit richer than the others. So we'll get our tester in there. Now I've got an SP Tools tester. We'll start on number 1. Now, if we can line that up where we can see it, we'll give that some bunch of cranks. Okay, so we've got 120, which I always like to write it down. So we've got number 1. We'll say that's probably closer to 130 PSI. So we'll do 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's not too bad. Supposedly this thing's done 300,000 Ks, so it's amazing. Like a little 1.3 litre. I know they're not pulling a heap of load. Can do over 300,000 Ks. We won't be able to see that one. Okay, so that's right on bang on 130 as well, which is not a bad sign. Like, because the motor's got a bunch of oil leaks, so I'm going to do a head gasket kit on it. Front and rear main seal, a clutch as well. So before I go and order all those parts, it's always good to say, look, the engine's not got a dud cylinder or something like that. And so far it's looking pretty good. We won't be able to see the last one, the third one. Another one that was just a little bit lower, but so we'll say 125 on number 3. 125. and that's spot on. And now I'm doing this cold as well, which you can do it hot. If you've got a problem, like I said, we're more looking for consistency over all 4 cylinders. We're not looking for mega high results. It's only the low compression motor, these things. So do the last one. Yeah, so that one's a bit lower. So we've only got, that one's come back at about 70. So we might just redo, we'll just adjust this to make sure we're getting a good seal. Oh, so it's nice and tight. We'll try that one again. Okay, so that might be a slight issue. So we've only got about 80 psi on the 4th cylinder there, but I might just go and get a little bit of oil, and we might try wide open throttle as well, just to see if that makes any difference. But initially we've got one, so we'll put down 80 psi. That's a shame, but it could be, might have a dud head gasket, something along those lines. So it could be a number of other things. So we'll try it again, wide open throttle. Wide open throttle's only brought it up to 90, so we'll go and get some oil and we'll stick that in. So we're at 90. Now if you put a bit of oil in and your compression goes up, it's a good indication your ends are worn out. Hopefully. Now we'll just crank that a little bit just to circulate the oil. Now if we get a huge jump, it's rings. If it's not, it's your valves. So we hope it's valves, because I'm going to pull the head off, and if we've got to just relap a valve in, that's fine. That's an easy job to do. Alright, so here we go. I'll crank that again. Okay, now it's jumped up a tiny little bit. It's gone up to about 100, which to me would more indicate a valve issue rather than a cylinder problem, which is good, because I don't want to have to rebuild the motor if I don't have to. So that's it. That's basically our compression test done. So all in all, that's not too bad. I'd rather it to be a bit better than that. So like you can see there, it's come up to 100. So before we were at about 80 to 90, depending on how long we cranked. We're around about the 90 sort of figure, and we've come up to about 100. So normally you see a bit more of a gain. If it is rings, you might normally get it up to about 120, basically closer up to where we were before. But without putting oil in, even if the others were a 130 and that was about 115, I probably wouldn't even bother about it anyway. So we'll throw the plugs back in and we'll get some parts ordered. Okay, now, well, mine got the better of me. I thought after what we got with our cold test, I want to do a hot test. So we've just been for a drive, warmed her up. So let's get these plugs back out. Even though we probably get similar results, so it's not actually that dirty. We'll do all four again, just so we've got a good judge. Like if it is number 4, still got low compression, to me I'm leaning towards a valve, hopefully. So, because when you pull a lead off this cylinder at number 4, it drops heaps. Like, so it's very reliant on that cylinder. So it's not like it's got real low compression on it and it's barely doing anything. We'll get them back out. We'll start on number 4. Now I just want to make sure we're getting a good seal. Number 4's a bit of moisture around it, but just giving the engine a bit of a wash, a bit of a degrease. Make sure that's nice and tight. Now we'll see if we can wedge it up there so we can see how far it jumps up. Okay, what did we get? So we got 120 hot, which is not a bad sign. So generally, if it's a valve, sometimes once they heat up they'll actually seal better, but we'll see what the difference is between number 3. We're good if we can get this to angle towards the camera. Anyway, we'll try that one. Okay, so we're getting the same with a hot test, which that's a good indication that it's only a valve, which is good. So I was thinking, I might have to just pull that piston out once I got the head off it, but then I thought, let's hope not, just because more work, more time. Okay, so we've got 120 again. Now, yesterday, if I just did a hot test, I probably would have walked away and gone, yep, sweet. But that's what happens sometimes. Okay. And possibly I didn't get a good seal on the compression tester, who knows. But all compression testers read slightly different too. So you can't sort of say, oh, mine's got 120, but my Suzuki's got 190 or something like that. Sometimes compression testers just read a little higher. Okay, so we've got 120 on the last one as well, which is good. So, hot. So, there we have it. 120. So, to me, I think that's fine. We'll leave that as that and put the plugs back in it. Giving it a bit of a clean up. It's a bit cleaner down the sides. Might just throw some WD-40 on it just to protect the alley till we get the head off it, and I think we're going to put a new exhaust on it. I tried welding the exhaust back together underneath, but it doesn't want to sort of play ball. It's pretty rusted. So anyway, okay, we've got it all back together now. Yeah, I'm happy with those results. After doing the other one last night, I was sort of worrying I'm going to have to rebuild the motor on it. But at 120 overall fall when it's hot, I think that's fine. I think if I recode a head, it'll probably pick up the compression a little bit. Obviously, maybe the rears run a little bit lean, so it might have a slightly burnt valve on the back. And that's about it for today. I thought I'd just post what I'm doing on the car at the moment. Not much is sort of happening. I've made the car look ugly. I've put some rust converter all over it, just to sort of help prevent some of the rust and not stop the rust, but what it does is it neutralizes it and it goes black like that, so that once I actually sand it all back, hopefully the rust isn't active anymore. The Honda's still sitting out the front waiting for parts to turn up. Nothing's arrived for that yet. I ordered the bumper scoops 2 months ago. They accidentally sent me canards instead, so we'll be putting a pair of canards on it. Not that I really want them, but I'll put them on, and once the scoops turn up next week, hopefully then we can get some more work done on that. So yeah, if you're interested in what I'm doing with the Civic, or actually with the Sierra as well, subscribe to the videos. It helps me know that you're interested with what I'm doing, and you know, it's not completely boring content. I'm trying to decide what colour to paint this car once we finish it. I'm definitely going to do the engine bay black, because then I can just do it with the head out, and I'm going to have the gearbox out at the same time, because I'm going to do the clutch, rear main seal and everything like that. I'm going to definitely paint that black. Now the exterior, I'm not sure whether to go black or just keep it white like it is. Post in comments what you think. They're the two colours I'll toss up. I don't think I'll do any other type of colour. I don't think it suits them very well, but I think the black will look pretty cool. I've currently ordered a bunch of parts. I've got an alloy radiator kit coming for it with all hoses and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they only can supply blue hoses, but that'll do. We've got a Weber carb to go on. Got to do all the brakes. I'm going to rebuild the front end, and I'll show you how to rebuild the front hubs on these. I've got the hub kit and wheel bearing kit. You can see this one here. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's been leaking. So we're going to rebuild them. That'll probably be next week sometime. And that'll be about it. I'll show you a bit more of the interior. Interior needs a little bit of work. It's a bit tired. I'm going to put all new carpet in it. I'm going to repaint the dash. I'm going to paint that black. I'm going to buy a new shroud. We'll probably put a different steering wheel on it. The gear shifter's floppy as in it, so I've bought a new bush kit for that, which is like two plastic bushes that go in the top of the shifter and one at the bottom. So we're going to put that back on, and that's about it for today's video. So yeah, I'll try and keep an update at least once a week or so on the car, depending on time. I've got a bit of holidays coming up soon, so I should be able to get a fair bit done then. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.